So are you a developer who struggles when it comes to music in your game? Or maybe you simply make a little song and just plop it into your game to get it over with? Well then, I just made the asset for you. Adaptive Stem Music Manager is a Unity asset designed for game devs who are looking to take their music to the next level. It's perfect for people who maybe don't know how to take an ordinary song and tailor it specific to a video game. What the asset does is provide you with pre-made tools and components to help you randomize stems in your song, create seamless tempo map transitions between them, and have your game react to each beat. Included in the asset are 2 demos, so to start I'm just going to show you how both of them work so you can see if it's something that could benefit you. The first demo showcases transitioning between 2 songs tempo mapped. Each zone triggers a different song on collision, but it could as easily be triggered by game state, such as a boss battle. This also showcases certain randomization parameters that occur after each loop of the song. You can hear this at the end of the musical phrase when certain instruments may drop out or come in. Demo 2 showcases how you can use randomization parameters to craft the song itself. This song is configured to trigger new notes every single beat, so most of the music you hear is being created live. In addition to that, using C# events, the game also reacts to the music by instantiating these circles on every single beat and of different sizes based on the measure. So how can you do this yourself? Well, to start, I'll show you how you can properly prepare your stems in your DAW of choice so that they can work seamlessly with the tool. I'm here in Ableton. You can of course use any DAW, but the main stuff we're looking out for here is to just make sure our stems can seamlessly loop. The first step, and probably the most important one, is to add a tiny fade in and out to each of your stem. This will prevent unexpected pops from happening. This means if you're using an instrument on a MIDI track, you should probably export them out and manually add the fade-ins to make sure it will sound right. Next step is to make sure your stem is the correct length. The tool works by checking every measure if it needs to play a new stem. So if your clip is just ever so slightly longer than the measure you want it to loop, then it will wait one more measure than intended for it to play back. The same is not true with shorter clips. It will simply loop to the next available measure, but still it is best to make sure your clip ends exactly at the end of a measure to ensure no unexpected results. There are other little things that you may need to account for, such as time-based effects when making loops, but these are the main 2, and you can always just test how they sound beforehand by looping in your DAW. Now time to implement your songs. Back in Unity, you can drag all your stems into a folder and then hit right-click, create, Adaptive Stem Manager, and hit Song. Now in the inspector, you'll be greeted by 5 parameters. Number of section refers to sections of your song that you want stems to randomize between. Basically, whatever stems you put in each section will never be simultaneously playing. So you can maybe have a lead part playing the same melody, but 2 versions with different instruments that you would like to randomly swap between. Here you can configure your BPM and time signature. Note that your time signature must be over 4, but this shouldn't matter since all time signatures can technically boil down to being over 4 if you make sure to change your BPM accordingly. Song identifier just relates to a name that later you can reference to play the song. It's not a required field because there are 3 different ways to trigger a song, but no harm in filling it out. Here is where you input your stinger. A stinger is an audio implementation term referring to a clip used to transition between sounds or songs. In this case, if you add a stinger, then it will play before your song starts. You are able to choose each time whether you would like to trigger it, but this can be helpful and sometimes necessary with tempo map transitions to make sure your musical phrases flow freely. Next, you'll see the amount of sections that you declared above. Each section includes 6 parameters, 2 of which will be grayed out unless you have more than 1 stem added to the list. First, you can add your stems here. Remember that whatever stems you put here, they will never be playing at the same time. Next, there's the play after variable, which essentially is a delay you can have between triggering clips dictated by measures. This is handy if you have a long gap between little sounds you want to trigger, and instead of exporting them out with long gaps of silence, you can just do the little moment of your clip and then add the proper measure delay. Next is your section volume. Unfortunately, there's a slight issue that I've found using Unity Custom Expector sliders where the slider values will default to 0, so make sure you set this accordingly before moving on. Assuming you've mixed your stems correctly beforehand, then you might as well just leave this as 1. Next, we have the chance of playing variable, which is simply what % chance your song will get triggered. If you have more than one stem added, then you'll have access to the cycle randomly and chance of cycling variables. If you have cycle randomly checked, then it will randomly choose between all of your stems for what to play next. Keep in mind that stems can repeat with cycle randomly checked. If it isn't checked, then it will sequentially trigger the stems in the list. Chance of cycling is just the chance it will change the stem currently playing and pick a new one based on which option you chose above. That's it for the song parameters. Now it's time to trigger our songs. So first step in your project is to add the adaptive stem music manager script to a game object. Next, you can select whether to have it persist between scenes so that the music stays when changing scenes instead of abruptly stopping. And here you can add your songs into the songs list. This is for one type of workflow, but there is another way to trigger your songs that is most likely the better use for your case. I just included this because there are some times when I find it a nicer method. Then here you can input a mixer group that all your song's audio sources will feed into so you can change the overall volume if needed. In terms of triggering your songs, there are 2 functions with a few different overloads. One function is play song, which will stop the current song playing and play the next one immediately, where trigger next song will play your song at the end of the current song's measure. Each function takes 3 parameters. The first parameter has 3 different overloaded options you can pick to determine which song to play next. Option 1 is the index of your song on the list we just looked at the main script. Option 2 is the song identifier string you added to your scriptable objects. For this option, you also still need your song added to the list on the main script. The third option is you can simply input your song's scriptable object variable from whichever script you're calling it from, which you can see in Demo 1. Parameter 2 is fade time. This is both the time the new song will fade in and also the current one will fade out. Fade time is ignored if you are using trigger next song and there is already a song currently playing. The third parameter is whether to play your stinger. A nice way to see whether you'd want to play your stinger would be to input the variable that you can get from the Adaptive Stem Music Manager instance called musicIsPlaying. This makes it so that if there isn't music already playing, then you maybe wouldn't want your stinger to play. You can see this in Demo 1. There's one more function available to you, which is Stop All Music, which simply takes the fade time you would like. In addition to that, you also have access to the BPM of the current song by using the current BPM variable. You can see all these functions in action with collisions in Demo 1. The last feature included is one C# event that you can use to trigger things in your game according to a new measure. It's called onMeasure, and you just subscribe to it on onEnable, unsubscribe to it on onDisable, and then pick whatever name you'd like for the function, and then this function will be called whenever it's a new measure on your song. You can see this on Demo 2. Hopefully you guys find this tool useful. I would love to see any projects you use them in, so definitely send them my way. You can get it right now on the Unity Asset Store for only $5. The link is in the description. If you'd like to see more things I might make in the future, then definitely consider liking and subscribing, and I will see you guys next time. Thanks.